Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Don Chip once again on Gaming is Not a Crime. We're just going through the review of the new set of Aether Revolt, and in this specific video, I'm gonna be covering black today. This is one of my favorite colors. I think it's like the third color I fell in love with when playing Magic, to be honest with you guys. Right after white and green. So this is something I'm looking forward to. I haven't seen black being too powerful in Kaladesh, to be honest with you guys. So I'm really hoping. I haven't gone through this set yet. There's gonna be pretty much, you know, um, we see how it goes, right on the spot, and see what we get. I'm being hopeful that black is going to be a bit more powerful this time, and we're going to be starting off with the demon creature, a mythic card, which is Herald of Anguish, and this is a 7 mana, two specifically black, and you have improvise. So there you go, straight off the bat, you have improvise, where it's going to reduce the summoning cost of this. It's a flying 5/5 creature. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent discards a card, and then you have the ability to tap to sacrifice an artifact so that you get to give a -2/-2 to target creature. So this is a pretty good card to have straight off the bat. The minute you get this is mythics have never been more powerful, guys. Um, I mean, okay, in the previous set we had the Hulks, the big artifact creatures were pretty good. I'm not gonna diss them at all because I've used them in my pre-release. I've used them in my standard decks. However, this is going to be something else. These creatures and the the mythics cards that have come out for this set are amazing. I would almost say OP. This is going to be pretty good for the new set, and it's a 5/5 flyer. I mean, straight off the bat, you're going to be looking at a huge problem if you have this one out, and especially with artifacts running around from the previous set and this new set, man, we're going to see this come down no problem. For its 7 mana costs, you definitely want to play this. Moving on to our legendary creature of the set over here in the monocolor of black, we have Yahini Undying Parisan, I guess. So this is the Etherborn Vampire. I love vampires a bit, so it's a big surprise I'm seeing a vampire in this set. It's an Etherborn, which we're going to be saying that is going to be very effective. And this is why I'm looking forward to black, because there's a theme to them, and with haste. So it's a 2/2 with haste. So the minute you put it down, it's going to be able to do damage, or you're going to be able to use this ability straight off the bat. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you put a +1/+1 counter, very vampiric-like, especially if you look into the set of Eldritch Moon and also of Innistrad. You definitely have this power. Whenever a creature dies, your own vampires grow. And then you can sacrifice another creature of your choice from your side of the battlefield, of course, and this creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Could it get any richer? Again, the only problem with this is simply because it's a legendary creature. So this is definitely going to be replacing the other vampire that came up in the set of Zendikar for 4 mana. Don't tell me what the name is. I'm really bad with names, guys. But this is something that's going to be replacing it, and even better. Again, the only problem with this card is simply a legendary, so you're gonna have only one on the battlefield. But then again, it's better than nothing. You're gonna want 2 or 3 of this in your play, especially if you're gonna be using the Etherborn new, how do you say it, like collaboration between them, so to speak. It's like you, you know how you always have that set with vampires and set with elves have that thing. They had it back in lore when where they support each other. Etherborn, I'm gonna have something similar. I have the feeling. Then again, I'm only judging this simply because I saw a specific enchantment that might actually help. But we're gonna be seeing further ado with the black set. We have again, once again, this is Yahini's expertise. So this is a sorcery based on that legendary creature. Every legendary creature seems to have this now. So it's for 4 mana, 2 specifically black at sorcery speed. All creatures get a -3/-3 until the end of turn. You may cast a card with confirmed mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So we're seeing that each of the legendary creatures have their own sorcery, and you're going to be able to play a spell right off the bat for a specific mana cost or less. What I love about this is going to be a wiper. It's going to be cleaner, clear the board thing, so it's pretty good. and overall it's going to be matching your legendary creature if you're going to be building a deck around it. So you're definitely going to need this in your deck. Then again, this is going to easily be something that gets rid of all your 1/1, your opponent's 1/1 creatures. -3/-3 is pretty powerful, I think, so it's pretty good. Then again, it's rare, so it is something that's going to definitely see play in standard for sure. So Aether Poisoner. So with this is a human artificer for 2 mana, one specifically black with Death Touch. Okay, something that we've been seeing a lot in black, a lot of Death Touch going on. And whenever this creature enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. So you get to play energy as well. Whenever this attacks, you may pay 2 energy, and if you do, you color a you create a 1 colorless server artifact token. Pretty good overall, especially with this being a common. Granted, it's a 1/1 with Death Touch. It's pretty good straight off the bat, very powerful. Something you're going to be looking out for it when you're doing your draft, especially in your coming up event of Friday Night Magic, and also the pre-release coming up this weekend, guys. Nevertheless, this is the this is the famous. Okay, it's on an enchantment. Actually, I miscalculated that myself. This is an actual creature, the Etherborn Rogue, Midnight's and Torrigate. I'm not gonna even bother trying to spell, you know, pronounce that name. It's really hard. Anyways, getting straight to the point, where basically other Etherborn creatures get a +1, and whenever this creature or another Etherborn you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So it's a pretty good card overall. I can see its rarity. It's a 3/3. I can definitely see a theme coming around here. So these Etherborns are definitely not having Tezzeret steal Ether for himself. No way. Moving on to the next one, we have, oh, this is the famous Tezzeret. So this is very Tezzeret themed. Um, Battle at the Bridge. So this is a 1 black and X cost sorcery. You can pay X as either tapping land or with improvise. So I see where the rarity is coming in here, and you get to give a -X until end of turn to a target specific creature, and you also gain that much life. So even for a 1/1, you want to boost that down and kill it off and gain as much life as you can. I can see why this is based on Tezzeret. This is bigger than you, all of you. I'm pretty sure Tezzeret doesn't sound like that, especially when I saw the video. He doesn't sound like that at all. Glint's Leaf Siphoner. So this is a 2 mana creature human rogue with Menace. We're seeing Menace back. Oh yes, I love Menace the bit, man. Alright, so whenever this creature enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 1 energy. So this is a pretty good card to have, especially when you're playing with the previous set. You're definitely gonna be wanting this to match another color as always. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, you draw a card and lose a life. Again, this is something that you're gonna be using for sure. So look out for these cards, guys. The rares are pretty good. Secret Salvage. So this is 5 mana with sorcery speed. Exile target non-land card from your graveyard. Search your library for any number of cards with the same name. Reveal them, put them into your hand. Shuffle your library. So this is pretty much if you need a specific set of something and it's in your graveyard, get rid of that one. Collect the other 3 if you have 4 copies of it in the deck. Something that is really brilliant. I'm definitely going to be seeing this being played in a standard deck. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Moving on further, without further ado, actually, Sly Requisitioner. Okay, so this is 5 mana, 1 specifically blue with Improvise. It's a human artificer. Whenever a non-token artifact you control is put into the graveyard, you create a 1/1 servo artifact token. So again, these servos are running around like crazy this time around. Loving the Improvise, despite it's a 2/2 for 5 mana, Improvise is going to be helping a lot in this. It's pretty much like Delve. Delve is something that I remember back in like 3 or 4 sets back, um, where you exile X amount of cards from your graveyard, something to reduce the mana cost. This is even better because you don't even have to exile anything. You just simply tap your artifacts. It doesn't have to be creature artifacts, and you're reducing the cost. So I'm loving improvise 100% in the set, loving the mechanic. I don't see this coming into any future sets. To be honest, it's simply for this theme specifically. We're looking at Parlous Predicament. We're looking at 5 mana, 1 particularly in black. It's an instant speed. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact creature and a non artifact creature. So your opponent, whether he likes it or not, has to sacrifice 2. Only problem with this is it's too costly for such a thing. I would have this in my deck, to be honest with you guys, simply because it does not have the this tap target artifact thing. I keep forgetting. I'm just going straight on speed ahead into the cards. But you know which one I'm talking about. Simply because of that, I don't think I'll be seeing this playing into my deck. You do want to see this into your draft, definitely. So we're always considering draft when looking at these cards. So this is something you do want to have aside if you're going to be playing black, because it's going to give you that option. Play it immediately as a vehicle turns into a creature, something that you want to do, and especially you're going to be hindering that vehicle and also its crewer. So that's something that you're going to be wanting to do. So we have another Aetherborn Artificer over here. This is Ironclad Revolutionary for 6 mana, 2 specifically black. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on this, and each opponent loses 2 life. You can't get any better. It's a 4/4. And despite it is okay 6 mana, something that I really like cheap cost stuff. It's a pretty good card. You might want to have one in your deck while you're playing draft. However, this is not a totally bad card to put in there. I mean, this could have easily seen rare if the cost had been reduced. And yeah, definitely something that I'll be looking forward to in a draft. Nothing that I'll be looking forward to, however, if building my decks. Unless, of course, you're going to go with Etherborn uh, theme. Again, I think we've only seen like 3 or 4 Etherborns at this point. So yeah, the theme has to be pretty much made out of these specific cards, unless we see Etherborns in another color except for black. I haven't seen anything yet in, well, definitely not in white. Don't believe I've seen anything in blue. So we'll be looking forward to them perhaps in a different color. However, if memory serves me correctly, I only seen them in black so far. Moving forward to the enchantment with 1 black cost. Gonti's Mechanicians, how do you, whatever. It's an enchantment. Whenever you lose life for the first time, each turn you get 1 energy. You can then play. You pay 2 energy to sacrifice this enchantment. Each opponent loses 3 life. You gain life equal to life lost this way. So it's not a big deal. I like it to a certain extent, especially with the whole draw cards, you lose a life. Because every time you're going to be doing that, every single time you're going to be doing that during your turn, um, you're going to have your opponent lose 3 life. So for 1 life that you're losing, your opponent is losing 3 life. Loving the concept, loving how this is going around. I am confident that all our enterprises can be benefit from this little revolution. Loving the flavor text there, guys. All right, so I was not expecting to see insects in this, to be quite honest. I mean, Foundry Hornet. Definitely not going to be replacing the Queen Hornet from M15. However, we'll just see what this one entails with 4 manas, 1 specifically black. It's an insect, as we said, flying, of course. Whenever Foundry Hornet enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, creature your opponent controls get a -1/-1 until the end of turn. Um, so this is pretty good to if you don't manage to get that rare that gives the -3/-3. This is a pretty good um, card to be playing with, especially green black. Simply because green has the +1/+1 counters. You have that ability to give all your opponent's creatures a -1/-1, getting rid of specifically those annoying 1/1 tokens running around the battlefield, defending his, his bigger creatures from being attacked. So this is something that you do want to see in drafts. Not sure if you're going to be playing this in your standard deck per se. However, I would consider it depending on what type of style you're going to be playing. Each to their own. And however, this is not going to be catching up with the 2/2 zombies back from Innistrad and Eldritch Moon, and especially not the 3/2 Eldritch tokens. This is not going to be able to catch up. This is simply for the servo 1/1s and the top tier 1/1s to get them out of your way. Again, it's pretty good. Gifted Aetherborn. So we're seeing another Aetherborn vampire. I am really surprised to see two vampires in this set already. So Death Touch and Lifelink for two black specific. It's a 2/3. You can't get any better. It is giving you life, and at the same time, it's Death Touch, frightening your opponent, which creature is going to defend with, unless, of course, he has one of those really annoying 1/1 tokens running around. Definitely going to be seeing play. Definitely going to be seeing play. Especially for me, I'm a big vampire player. In fact, I have a vampire deck, and standard-wise, I'm definitely going to be seeing this in my specific deck. So not sure about you guys, especially with Aetherborn team. So this can go two ways for players. Fatal Push. So this is going to be a 1 cost for an instant. You destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. Very down specific, unfortunately. It does have a new mechanic called Revolt. You can destroy that creature if has converted mana 4 or less. If a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. This is the one that Revolt is the mechanic that I've been looking for the term. I'm probably gonna forget it if we come around to mentioning it again. However, keep this in mind. Revolt is the one. So you can you can destroy a 4 mana creature or less instead, simply if a permanent left your battlefield this turn. So either you bounce back or a creature died for whatever reason, you sacrifice a creature. Black control on your side is very much key where I see this being played. Black white, definitely you're going to be seeing this coming into play simply because it gives you that advantage. And we have Resourceful Return for 2 mana sorcery speed. It's a common. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. If you control an artifact, you get to draw a card. So this is pretty much very similar to, in fact, Cemetery Recruitment back in Eldritch Moon, where you return a target creature from your graveyard. If it happens to be a zombie, you then draw a card. In this case, this is specifically if you control an artifact on the battlefield, then you draw a card. So it's the same concept. I love the return target creature from your graveyard. It gives you that security, especially during a draft if you happen to lose a creature for whatever reason, especially if you're going against players who managed to build a pretty good draft blue control deck. This is something that you want to see in your hand, and it's a common. Once again, you don't see this in any other rarity but common. So it's a pretty good card that you want to keep into your sideboard at the very least. Renegade's Gateway. So 3 mana instant speed. Again, target permanent gains indestructible on the end of turn. You create a 1/1 servo artifact creature. So effects that say destroy, don't destroy target permanent. Okay, because it gains indestructible. Fair enough. Again, this is something you're gonna be not seeing in standard per se. Not sure if you want to. You might consider putting it simply if you're gonna go for the 1/1 servo thing. However, the whole indestructible thing, I mean, you could do without. I mean, it's a pretty good thing if it was a permanent ability on a creature. However, until end of turn, it might save your creature that one time. Again, it's something that you're going to be looking for, not playing in your standard deck. However, you're going to be playing in your drafts. So when you're playing drafts, keep a good eye out for this. It's not a bad thing. Fort Bridge Prowler. So 1 mana, it's a human rogue 1/1. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you may have target creature gain -1/-1 until end of turn. So it's a pretty much a quick play. Put it down, get rid of any 1/1s, just in case he has a quick play too. Especially with one of those creatures from green, is going to give you them mana you want to get that rid of and give them a disadvantage there. However, again, this is not something you're going to be seeing in competitive play. Um, Definitely something that you might want to consider putting in if you're playing drafts. Most of the cards in common is what you're going to be looking for in drafts, so keep these in mind. However, if you're going to go into competitive play, I do not see this coming in too often. Van Howler, it's a it's a seven. Excuse me, there. It's a 7 mana creature insects. Another insect here with 7 mana, as I said, with improvise. So this is a pretty good card for a 5/5. And when basically your opponent is attacking, you can't. Um, oh, hold on, wait, I'm misreading that. Actually, it can't be blocked by artifacts. So you have that advantage over here with this one. If your opponents are playing artifacts, which is a very good chance that they are, you're definitely going to have this creature deal 5 straight damage in because he won't be able to block with his artifacts, especially if he's going to be tapping to crew with vigilance. Something like that. I'm just making it up as I go. This creature is definitely going to be, untouched at this point. As a 5/5, the improvise makes this card again worth it, similar to the one that I said in blue. If you saw my video, where this is something that I would consider. So I'm pretty sure the last 6 cards that we're going to be seeing in the set of black for Aerther Revolt. There's going to be that one card I'm going to be saying, I'm very sorry, I'm not going to be playing you. Definitely, um, we're going to be seeing that. So another Aetherborn. Here we are. So Defiance Salvager. So it's 3 mana, one specifically black. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It does activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So basically, you can only do this during your turn, which is pretty good, especially if you're going to be having one of those decks that you're going to be having a bunch of tokens coming out. So this is something that you're going to be wanting. I would have miserably made this an uncommon, to be honest with you. So the fact that it's a common, it's a good thing, especially for drafts. I would see this coming into one of my decks for sure. Not sure how I would play it, to be honest. I have to find a combination with if a creature died this turn, something happens probably. You do want to look into this, especially if you have, as I said earlier on in the video, something that if something left the battlefield this turn. This is a very good trigger ability. And we have Daring Demolition. So this is a sorcery where you're going to destroy target creature or vehicle. So it's a very a straightforward, bomb. Pretty much, you can see the explosives right there. I mean, it says it all. The artwork itself is beautiful. Again, it's a sorcery speed, unfortunately. I would have made this as an instant speed for this 4 mana. I think simply it's 4 mana simply because it gives you a target creature or vehicle at this point. So even if the vehicle is not a creature at that point, it is still able to be destroyed. I definitely would have rethought this, to be honest. But again, it kind of balances out certain things. And we have Cruel Finality. Okay, that's brutal artwork right there. Not, is that a demon holding like that sword against the dwarfs? Wait, I recognize that guy. That's from the white sets with the legendary creature, it seems. Anyways, let's read on. So 3 mana instant. One specifically black, by the way. Target creature gets a -1, -2/-2 until end of turn, and you get to scry 1. So it's giving you that blue-black feel here immediately, where you're going to be killing off a creature or reducing its power and toughness simply so you don't get that much damage, perhaps. That Scry 1 ability gives you that kind of control of what's going to come up, something that you do want to play during your opponent's turn. And let's face it, most of the instances that you should be playing should be played during your opponent's turn if you want to play them properly. Newcomers, make sure you keep that note. Instance, try to play them as much as possible during your opponent's turn. Save that untapped land for these instants. Ally Straggler. So here's another Aetherborn. So we do see that Aetherborn is a possible team deck that you can build at this point. 3 mana, 2/3 with Menace. Very brilliant, very straightforward. something that you do want to actually have set aside if you're going to be building up your draft deck and you get these guys. I think Black overall has satisfied me more than the previous set has in Aether Revolt. Don't want to speak too soon. We have two more cards. This is one of them. Aetherborn Warrior with Revolt. Vengeful Rebel, sorry, with 3 mana, one specifically black. Revolt, as we said, is something if something leaves the battlefield, then this triggers. Let's see. So this is specifically if he enters the battlefield and if a permanent had left the battlefield this turn, target creature an opponent controls is a -3 until end of turn. So it's a pretty good card overall. It I wouldn't have made him a warrior to be honest. It sounds more um like a rogue thing. So not sure if that was supposed to be some kind of mistype. I don't know where they're going on with this, or perhaps something in the story that I'm not quite aware of. But then again, it's a pretty good card, and Aetherborn is something that you can definitely have for flavor. Oh my, this doesn't even have the white text I can read off properly from here because these get a bit too small. But here we go. So this is another Aetherborn warrior, with 4 mana, one specifically black, flying, 2/2, and if this creature enters the battlefield, um, sorry, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. So it's a pretty good card. I can see a mono black being built quite easily with what has come out so far, especially with the sacrifice creature from the earlier cards that we've seen throughout this video. I've come towards the end of the set of black guys. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I'm sorry that I kind of am training through this as fast as I can. I don't want to make these videos too boring, and it's just pretty much an overview of what came out and where you're looking to play these things. Simply, if you don't have the time to go into reading and all that, you get to at least listen and view these cards. I know other people do this more professional than I do. I've just started my YouTube video, as you probably can see at this point. However, I'm doing my best over here. Next up, look out for the red sets for Aether Revolt. I'll be doing that next. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you so much for your support as always. Don Chap here, and have a good one.